Alright, we've got our Smile 2 first reviews. I'm actually really looking forward to this movie. I think this will be a good bit of fun, quite frankly. I think I can watch it tomorrow in the UK. And so as I always do here on this channel, when there's a movie that I'm personally looking forward to, but also a film which, you know, I think you guys will be interested to see, we take a look at the first reviews, not because we believe them, of course not, but it does give us an indication of, one, where the critics lie. Obviously, they're critic reviews. But then also when the movie does, get released to the public and they get their thoughts out, it's interesting to cross-compare and just see where the sort of disparity is, if there is one. Now, I liked Smile. I thought it was pretty fresh for what it was. It definitely didn't, well, was it massively new and fresh? Not really. It sort of followed in the same trend as It Follows, funnily enough. And films like that. I thought it was a very refreshing film. But certainly not breaking the mould of horror, for sure. So Smile 2 was a pleasant surprise. It was a movie which, Smile left itself open to a sequel. Not necessarily demanded one. But it was good financially, and horrors tend to save Hollywood when it's in a bit of a doom loop. So it's not a huge surprise that they were like, yep, we'll do another one. And this, for all intents and purposes, does actually look quite good from the trailers. So I'm excited for this. And yeah, we'll take a look, basically. So for those that don't know, Smile earned $217 million worldwide on a $17 million budget. So this is what I mean when it comes to horror being the salvation of Hollywood when it is in a doom loop. Horror has always saved Hollywood when it's just going down the pan. Now, obviously, it does... Well, it doesn't necessarily always save horror. Save Hollywood, sorry. But horror, generally speaking, has massive, massive potential for profits. Because they can just make them on absolutely no money at all. So yeah, Smile 2, good. Really good that it's here. So based on the first wave of reviews, the follow-up is just as good. Perhaps not better than the first one. But that's not a surprise. It's really not a surprise at all. Films will always get compared to the first one. And most people tend to have positive sort of association with the first one over the second. So it's quite rare that people will say that a follow-up, a sequel, is better than the original. So it says here, however, first reported on Fear HQ, new lead Naomi Scott is receiving a lot of praise for her performance, and it sounds like there are a lot of scares for horror fans to get excited about. So that's good. Hollywood Reporter says Smile 2, quote, will leave plenty of horror fans grinning from ear to ear. However, director Parker Finn perhaps just needs to back off a little from the misconception that more is more and maintain a greater focus on his story skills. Maybe that was a complaint that Paramount wanted to correct from the first one. Was that there was too much story and not enough fear. I don't know. Variety does actually echo that, by the way. So they say that the ending is destined to leave the audience scratching its collective head. And that's because Parker Finn, now in love with the Smile mythology he created, gets grandiose about it. I think that sounds good, actually. And that's the thing about the first one. No one really knew. You were a bit like, oh, what's going on here? Let's have more. So Joe Blow says Smile 2 is one of the more entertaining films I've seen this year. With the 2-hour plus running time racing by, it's an all-out gore-soaked blast. Good. Good. The first one was pretty gory as well, actually. Empire Online says Smile 2 is creepy and clever, but rarely surprising. This horror hits its mark well enough, but fails to surpass its more rough and ready predecessor. It's not really an indictment of the movie, quite frankly. Again, it's rare for sequels to surpass the original. So IGN says, though not quite as scary as the original, this sequel to the horror hit should put a wicked grin on plenty of faces. IndieWire says, or believes, that Smile 2 could be the first of many follow-ups. Says, more than anything, this sequel is proof of the endless versatility that could turn Smile movies into an October box office fixture for decades to come. I hope not. I hope not. I don't suddenly turn this into a yearly event, just constantly pumping them out. You know, I don't want that. Maybe another one, keep it fresh, but you know, consistently pumping them out, no thanks. Bloody Disgusting horror website says, as someone who found the first film solid yet ultimately familiar in its influences, much actually to what I've just said already, Smile 2 makes for one of the year's biggest horror surprises. Naomi Scott delivers a career-defining performance, tackling so many layers of her character, and with seemingly effortless ease. And that is interesting. You know, it does go to show that she is a good actor, at the very least. So, yeah. And so, yeah, basically it's got an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's good. 80% was Smile, I believe. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. I think there is this final trailer, which I've not watched and I'm not going to watch. I don't want to watch that. But if we go over to Rotten Tomatoes and just have a good look, it has dropped ever so slightly, 79% now. So we'll just take a look at some of these. Someone says, just watch The Substance instead. Substance is a great movie, although not a traditional horror. So you've got to leave something for people that do want a traditional horror, and that's what Smile presumably will be for them. Writer-director Parker Finn delivers a scarier and gorier Smile sequel, and the intensity doesn't let up the entire runtime, leaving you exhausted in a good way by the end. That's good. Negative one, ups the ante in terms of size and scares, with diminishing returns, especially since it's telling essentially the same story as the original. But I guess that's because of the mythology of it all. Smile was compact, tidy, and chilling. Smile 2 was overstuffed, garish, and in the end rather silly. Interesting. Again, I guess if the mythology is baked in a way, you have to kind of repeat the story as the original, unless you're going to bring it to an end. You know, the whole film to an end, the franchise to an end. So, I don't know whether I 100% buy that as a criticism, but I guess you could probably do something different. I don't know, really. Another negative one, just because there's been lots of positives. Let's talk about some of the negatives. It may have the makings of a cult film, but Smile 2 leaves one with the nagging sense that you need to rewatch the original just to confirm this is a sequel. Again, it's that repeating that it's a little bit too much like the original. Interesting. Writer-director Parker Finn ably overcomes the sophomore jinx and delivers a sequel that stays true to the initial inspiration while finding a new and significantly bigger story to tell. That's interesting. I mean, this is saying that it builds on it. Huh. Well, there you go. There you go. You know, we could keep going on and on about this kind of stuff, but it sounds good. Overall, yeah, bloated sequel there. Again, this is still positive. You know, I mean, it's at 79%, so it is still positive. But what do you guys think? Are you keen for this or not? I mean, it's literally out tomorrow. I think you could probably watch it tonight on a double bill, but for most people, it's out tomorrow. So, yeah, what do you think? Let me know down below. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.